This is Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestant. Player one. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Brevet.
Thanks, Johnny. Welcome to Jeopardy, everyone. Good luck to you in the Jeopardy round. For this game, the categories are as follows. All about authors. Starts with the letter J. Completes the Star Trek title. L.A. story. Recently discovered presidential ads. And science. All right, let's get back into this. Player one has control of the board. He said a nation half slave and half free can't exist. I say he's wrong. I'm Stephen Douglas, and I approved this message. Let's hear it, player one. Right. We return to you, player one. So what if he's the first West Point grad president? Some say he drinks. You decide. I'm Horace Greeley, and I approve this message. Here's the correct response. Ulysses S. Grant. Select again. In 1814, this general had a pirate, Jean Lafitte, help him in New Orleans. What's next? I'm John Quincy Adams, and I approved this message. Yes, player one? Right.
Yeah! Woo!
Player one, you pick again, please. You elect him? I say in 7 months the economy will be in shambles. I'm Al Smith, and I approved this message. Player one? Sorry, that's wrong. The correct response is Herbert Hoover. We return to you, player one. Alex Hamilton wants him to be president. Them's fighting words. I'm Aaron Burr, and I approved this message. Here's what we wanted. Thomas Jefferson. Player one, you pick again, please. Where no man has done this. We're talking about gone before. You get to pick again, player one. The trouble with these creatures. Here's what we wanted. Tribbles. Select again. Muds these. Here's the correct response. Women. Player one, choose again. The city on the edge of this. Here's what we were looking for. Forever. Player one, back to you. The Corbomite this. Here's the response we were looking for. Maneuver. You again, player one. In the early 1920s, she scandalized Atlanta society by doing a provocative dance at a debutante ball. Let's hear it, player one. Yes. Select again. Mark Twain said, I came in with this in 1835. It is coming again next year, 1910, and I expect to go out with it. He did. Here's the correct response. Halley's Comet. Player one, choose again. He wrote his last short story, The Betrothed, shortly before his play, The Cherry Orchard. Here's the correct response. Anton Chekhov. You again, player one. This novelist who wrote about gorillas in Congo passed away in 2008. The correct response is Michael Crichton. Player one, back to you for our next selection. His father disapproved of his poetry writing, so Chile's Naftali Ricardo Reyes Basualto adopted this pen name. Let's hear it, player one. Nope. Sorry. Here's the correct response. Pablo Neruda. You get to pick again, player one. The third law of thermodynamics implies that a system can never be brought to this temperature point. Yes, player one? Right. Select again. In 2006, Israeli scientists claim to have created the ball type of this stormy phenomenon using a microwave oven. Player one? Ooh, sorry. That's incorrect. The correct response is lightning. You again, player one. And here's Kelly.
Symbolized lambda, the total distance covered by one complete cycle of oscillation from peak to peak or trough to trough, is called this.
It's player one.
Yeah!
Yes. You get to pick again, player one. We went underground to learn this unit is equal to about 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd power molecules of a substance. Let's hear it, player one. Sorry, that's wrong. Here's what we wanted. A mole. Select again. It's the Daily Double. And you're in the lead now. You need to select your wager. Answer this. In 2007, Intel announced a new, faster chip design replacing this 14th element with hafnium. Right. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Sam the Eagle was created by the Disney Company for this event held in Los Angeles in 1984. We're talking about the Olympics. You again, player one. Microphones, TV sets, masks, phonographs, and movie cameras symbolize stars' specialties on its Walk of Fame. Yes, player one? Yep, on the plus side again. Select again. This school is the oldest private university in California and the largest private employer in Los Angeles. We're talking about USC. Player one, you pick again, please. An observatory and a park in Los Angeles are named not for a birth of a nation director, but rather a colonel with this surname. We're talking about Griffith. Player one, you pick again, please. Docents at LA's Page Museum are in a sticky situation. La brea means this substance in Spanish. Player one? You got it. Player one, pick again. To cross the street illegally. Yes, player one? That is correct. You again, player one. It's combat between two knights on horseback using lances. Let's hear it, player one.
Yeah!
You are correct. Player one, choose again. Breed of cows named for one of the Channel Islands. Here's the response we were looking for. Jersey. Player one, you pick again, please. Many computer games use this lever. Yes, player one? Right. And now the $1,000 clue. A green mineral or a fickle woman. Here's what we were looking for. A jade. The Jeopardy round will begin right after this. Categories for the Double Jeopardy round are Geology, Food words and phrases, Quoth the Raven, notice the spelling, American Playwrights, A century of rain. And I want to be... All right, if you're ready, it's double Jeopardy time. The Mercalli scale measures the intensity of these from 1 to 12. Yes, player 1? No, that's not right. Here's the correct response. Earthquakes. Player 1, you pick again, please. Geysers aren't common. Major centers include Yellowstone, Iceland, and this country's North Island. Here's the response we were looking for. New Zealand. Player 1, you pick again, please. This rock can be formed by the accumulation of shells or coral, but not from citrus fruit. Let's hear it, player 1.
Yeah.
You again, player 1. Let's go over to Kelly.
Made from minerals deposited by dripping water, these geological formations grow up from cavern floors.
Okay, player 1. You got it. You get to pick again, player 1. A 6-mile-wide caldera or volcanic crater is a highlight of La Palma in this Spanish island group off Africa. We're talking about the Canaries. Player 1, choose again. Breakfast dish that can also mean to flatten. Player 1? That is correct. Player 1, choose again. In 1966, the U.S. government banned M80s and these round red firecrackers. Okay, player 1. Yes. Player 1, pick again. Used before barrel, it suggests the homespun style and philosophy of rural folk. Here's the response we were looking for. Cracker. Please pick again, player 1. It's the spicy two-word name for a type of knot that lets you join a rope to a rail or a post. Here's what we wanted. A clove hitch. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Here's Sarah from our Clue Crew with the clue.
A nursery rhyme says, this person, mend my shoe. Get it done by 2:30.
Let's hear it, player 1. Oh, sorry. That's in. Here's the response we were looking for. Cobbler. Select again. This character has gone psycho long before he says, "She might have fooled me, but she didn't fool my mother." The correct response is Norman Bates. You again, player 1. Kathleen Quinlan finds comfort talking to shrink Bibi Anderson in I Never Promised You a This. The correct response is Rose Garden. Player 1, you pick again, please. Answer, the first of the daily doubles. And you're in the lead now. Decide on your wager, player 1. All right, here's your clue. As John Nash in this movie, Russell Crowe does quite a bit of talking to people who don't exist. That's right, way to go. Player 1, pick again. This Johnny Depp character tells his psychiatrist, "You are a great lover like myself." We're talking about Don Juan de Marco. We return to you, player 1. In Quills, this author muses, "My glorious prose filtered through the minds of the insane. They might improve it." Here's what we wanted. Marquis de Sade. Player 1, choose again. True and false. David Mamet's no-nonsense book on this craft includes a chapter called Find Your Mark. Here's the correct response. Acting. Please pick again, player 1. This playwright once said that his Aunt Belle, a Sunday school teacher, was the prototype of Blanche Dubois. Let's hear it, player 1. Sorry, that's wrong. Here's the correct response. Tennessee Williams. We return to you, player 1. You might desire the rings and garters worn by this Desire Under the Elms author. They're in the Yale Library. Here's the correct response. Eugene O'Neill. You get to pick again, player 1. Fam and Yam was inspired by a meeting with this playwright for whom life was no picnic. Here's the response we were looking for. William Inge. You get to pick again, player 1. Pittsburgh's African American Cultural Center was renamed for this piano lesson author, who was born in Pittsburgh. We're talking about August Wilson. Player 1, choose again. England's Henry VIII. It's player 1. Nope. Sorry. Here's what we were looking for. The 16th. We return to you, player 1. Germany's Wilhelm I. Here's what we were looking for. The 19th. Player 1. Pick again. Answer. The other Daily Double. You are in the lead right now. Player 1, give us a wager. Here is your clue. England's William I. Correct. Please pick again, player 1. Italy's Victor Emmanuel III, 45 years of it. Here's what we were looking for. The 20th. We return to you, player 1. France's Louis XV. The correct response is the 18th. You get to pick again, player 1. One of these dancers, so I'm practicing my arabesques and pirouettes so I can perform with the Kirov. Okay, player 1. That's correct. We return to you, player 1. One of these, from the Greek for star sailor, like John Glenn or Buzz Aldrin. Let's hear it, player 1. That's right. Way to go. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. One of these, and deal with the health problems of VICUNAS, PINTOS, and Great Danes. Let's hear it, player 1. Yes. Player 1, you pick again, please. Like Martin Luther King and the Dalai Lama, and be honored with this humanitarian prize given in Oslo. Player 1. Good. Now let's take a look at that $2,000 clue, shall we? This, from the Greek for straight, and make some big bucks correcting crooked teeth with braces. Player 1. Is correct. Good game. I'll see you for Final Jeopardy in a moment. Time to get ready for Final Jeopardy. And today the category is this: African cities. What are you going to wager? Now, let's reveal the Final Jeopardy clue. Africa's most populous city not on a navigable body of water. Its settlers didn't need water when they had gold. Did you come up with the correct response? And that correct response will add... Congratulations, player 1. You're the winner. So long, everybody.
Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestant. Player one. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Thanks, Johnny. Welcome to Jeopardy, everyone. Good luck to you in the Jeopardy round. For this game, the categories are as follows: American history, literature à la Seuss, odd words, elementary, MapQuest, and Sherlock Holmes. Player one, you start us off. This famous transaction in 1803 doubled the territory of the U.S. Let's hear it, player one.
Yeah!
That is correct. Player one, choose again. In the 1760s, he and Charles Mason used milestones to mark the boundary line between Maryland and Pennsylvania. Let's hear it, player one. That is correct. Select again. The Watergate scandal led to the resignation of this U.S. president in 1974. Okay, player one. That's right. Way to go. Player one, choose again. In the 1830s, some 4,000 members of this Indian tribe died during a forced march known as the Trail of Tears. Player one. Yep. We return to you, player one. Reconstruction refers to the period of readjustment and rebuilding after this war. Player one. That's it.
Yeah! Woo!
Player one, back to you for our next selection. Hester looked at the frock. She looked in dismay. Do you have it in something other than A? It's player one. Correct. Select again. George said, "No, Lenny, no, I won't get you a guppy. You think I've forgotten what you did to that puppy?" Let's hear it, player one. Good.
Yeah!
You get to pick again, player one. I sat there with Winston. We sat there, we two. But when busted for thought crime, I knew I was through. It's player one. Good.
Yeah!
Player one, choose again. No Brontes, just Dantes. Got sent off to Deef. But with Danglers, that Danglers, he had a big beef. It's player one.
Yeah!
That is correct. You get to pick again, player one. So on again, from Laputa to Glubdubgrib. I'm giving up something a flubdubgrib. Player one? That's it.
Yeah! Woo!
Player one, back to you for our next selection. Dumbledore is actually an old word for this insect. J.K. Rowling imagined him humming all the time. Okay, player one. Yes. We return to you, player one. The name of this light, crinkled fabric comes from the Persian shir or SHAKKAR, meaning milk and sugar. Okay, player one. Correct. Player one. Pick again. The fact that clavate means shaped like this isn't something you have to hit me over the head with. Player one? Yes. Player one, choose again. Too much time enjoying potent potables? You could end up with a Katzenjammer, one of these. It's player one. Hey, you're right. Please pick again, player one. Robinsonade is not a refreshing drink. It's a novel similar in theme to a work by this author. Yes, player one? That is correct. Select again. The Bible tells us of this element being beaten into plates, cut into wires, and worked into the clothing worn by Aaron. Yes, player one? Hey, you're right. Please pick again, player one. Pu. But this element, 238, doesn't stink. It powers pacemakers. Player one? Yep. Please pick again, player one. I know Bernard Courtois discovered this element in 1811. Yes, player one? Yep.
Yeah! Woo!
Player one, back to you. It's the Daily Double.
Yeah! Woo!
And you have the lead. Decide on your wager, player one, and the clue. The Kennedy Space Center has used this gas, atomic number 54, in high-intensity lights for night landings. You are correct. You again, player one. This ductile, non-radioactive element has an atomic weight of 26.98. Let's hear it, player one.
Yeah!
You got it. You get to pick again, player one. To visit Sensoji Temple in this capital, cross Komagata Bridge, turn right, and walk north on the Nakamisidori. Player one? Good for you. Select again. The drive from Denmark to Malmö in this country includes a 5-mile stretch across the Øresund Bridge. Okay, player one.
Yeah!
Right you are. Please pick again, player one. From Paris's Royal SAINT-HONORE Hotel, walk a half-mile down Rue Saint-Honoré, turn right, and walk into its glass pyramid. Player one? Good. Please pick again, player one. To visit San Marino, take a winding road up Mount Titano, a short drive from Rimini in this country. Yes, player one? Yep. You again, player one. From Ulaanbaatar, go straight south to WUHAI, flip a left, and go about 500 miles to reach this world capital. Let's hear it, player one.
Yeah!
You got it. Select again. His second spin as Sherlock Holmes was subtitled, A Game of Shadows. Yes, player one? Yes. Please pick again, player 1. He first played Sherlock Holmes on film in 1939. It's player 1. Yes. You get to pick again, player 1. This star of Lawrence of Arabia voiced Sherlock Holmes for a series of cartoons in the 1980s. Okay, player 1. Good. Player 1, choose again. This one-time Willy Wonka took on the title role in 1975's The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother. Let's hear it, player 1. Yes. And here's the $1,000 clue. Before Rain Man, he directed Young Sherlock Holmes, in which Holmes and Watson meet as boys at boarding school. It's player 1. Right. The Double Jeopardy round will begin right after this. Clues are worth $400 to $2,000 in these categories. Science adjectives. Roman art. Oscar winners of yore. Asian bodies of water. Retronyms. And the Civil War. Let's get back into this now. You have control of the board. Because they're most active after dark, opossums are described as this, Latin for of the night. It's player 1.
Yeah.
That is correct. Player 1, you pick again, please. Pumice, which floats on water because of little air pockets, is described as this, from the Greek for passage. Player 1? Yes.
Yeah.
Please pick again, player 1. Answer, the first of the daily doubles. You are currently in the lead. Player 1, please select your wager. Here is your daily double clue. This 10-letter adjective describes a medical condition that was present at birth. Good. Player 1, choose again. Kelly?
Hydrogen and oxygen atoms bind tightly together to create water molecules by sharing electrons in this type of bond, from the Latin for strong together.
Player 1? Right. Please pick again, player 1. Sarcasm aside, this word from the Greek for burning describes a substance that causes corrosion. Yes, player 1? Good for you. Player 1, back to you. Kelly?
This giant amphitheater was one of the great achievements of Roman art.
Let's hear it, player 1. That's right. Way to go. Select again. Carved in Rome, the Pietà is the only work signed by this sculptor. Let's hear it, player 1. That's it. You get to pick again, player one. In Rome's Cerasi Chapel is Caravaggio's painting of the conversion of this saint. Let's hear it, player one. Yes. Player one, you pick again, please. A fresco by Raphael shows Pope Leo I pleading with this ruthless barbarian to spare Rome. Okay, player one. Correct. Player one, you pick again, please. Legend has it that Mark Antony's wife stabbed this orator's tongue after his death. Yes, player one? Right.
Yeah! Woo!
Player one, you pick again, please. John Ford directed this verdant 1941 winner about a Welsh mining family. It's player one. Right. Player one, back to you. Greer Garson survives a Luftwaffe attack and the annual flower show as the title misses in this film. It's player one. Correct. Player one, back to you. Jimmy Stewart as Buttons the Clown upstages Charlton Heston in this three-ring affair from 1952. Player one? That's correct. Please pick again, player one. Alcoholic Ray Milland is reminded that one's too many and 100's not enough in this film. Yes, player one? Correct. Player one, pick again. Gregory Peck gets the scoop on anti-Semitism in this film adapted by Moss Hart. Yes, player one?
Yeah!
Yes. Player one, pick again. Also called the Salt Sea, it's actually a large lake between Israel and Jordan. Let's hear it, player one.
Yeah!
You are correct. Player one, back to you for our next selection. The Sea of Japan splashes against this peninsula that's politically divided into north and south. Let's hear it, player one. That is correct. We return to you, player one. Leading ports on this gulf include Abadan in Iran and Al-Basra in Iraq. Let's hear it, player one. That's correct. We return to you, player one. This holy river of India was named for the daughter of the mountain god Himalaya. Okay, player one.
Yeah!
Yep. Player one, pick again. One of the world's longest rivers, it forms the border between China's Sichuan province and Tibet. Player one? Right. We return to you, player one. Retronyms were created by putting this word before coffee and gasoline. Okay, player one.
Yeah!
Good. Player one, pick again. As opposed to digital, it's the kind of watch with a face and hands. Yes, player one? Good. You again, player one. Answer? The second daily double. And you're in the lead now. What'll it be? Okay, here is the clue. Merriam-Webster's example of a retronym is console this. That's it. Player one, choose again. Frank Mankiewicz, the coiner of the word retronym, says one of his favorites is two-parent this. Okay, player one. Right.
Yeah! Woo!
Player 1, you pick again, please. The Washington Post called Live This a classic retronym. Yes, Player 1? Good. Please pick again, Player 1. Sarah will present this clue.
At the 1863 Battle of Gettysburg, the Union's center line at Cemetery Ridge was hit by 12,000 Confederates, who suffered 42% casualties in the skirmish known as This Man's Charge.
Player 1? Yes. Please pick again, Player 1. This national battlefield in Sharpsburg, Maryland, commemorates the bloodiest single day of the Civil War. Player 1? Yes. We return to you, Player 1. Sherman's campaign for this city took 3 months in 1864. Let's hear it, Player 1. No, that's not right. Here's what we were looking for. Atlanta. Player 1, choose again. In 1862, Confederate General Beauregard wanted Island Number 10 in this body of water held at all costs. Didn't happen. Player 1? That's correct. Here's the $2,000 clue. The hopeless mud march in a Virginia downpour ended Burnside's command of the force called This Army. Let's hear it, Player 1. Correct.
Yeah! Woo!
Looks like you'll be moving on to Final Jeopardy after this commercial break. Time to get ready for Final Jeopardy. And today the category is this: Broadway. So, what's your wager? Our Final Jeopardy clue today is the original 1994 Broadway cast of this musical based on a film featured Alan Oppenheimer as Cecil B. DeMille. Let's see your response. And this correct response will add how much to your score? This makes you our new champion, Player One, so congratulations. Thanks for playing, everybody. See you next time.